on WDHA's Reconnect with Rockers with one of my favorite guys, one of my favorite guests, Brent Smith from Shinedown. I got the shirt on. I didn't know which one to wear, but I quick changed and I'm ready to roll, man. It's so good to see your awesome, beautiful face. Thank you so much for checking in with us today.
Oh my gosh. I was just saying to you also, you look absolutely amazing. I know you were saying, oh, I've not really been doing anything, this and that and the other, but you look fantastic. I love the fact that you're wearing a Shinedown shirt, and I dressed up for you today. I thought
you look amazing too in the red jacket.
I was like, if I'm getting on, if I'm getting to talk to my girl, I'm gonna spruce it up a little bit.
I love it. You made my day. First of all, we're going to talk obviously about, this is an Atlas Falls conversation. You've always been the guy who not only gets yourself involved and rolls up your sleeves and says, what can I do? But you're a guy that does your homework. So when you decided we're stepping in as a band and we're going to do something, how did you decide that? When did you decide that? And how did you hook up with Direct Relief?
The only way I know how to answer that is to be very forthcoming with it. I'll try not to be massively long-winded.
Okay.
But in order for me to just give you the details, the only way I know how to do it is to just go from the beginning. So walk it back 5 weeks ago when I heard the term social distancing for the very first time, because I'd never heard it. And I didn't even know what a pandemic was. I had no awareness of what COVID-19 or coronavirus what that actually meant. And this was right when our governments and our leaders all across the world were saying, please stay inside. You have to self-quarantine right now. So I did the initial Saturday and Sunday where everybody was thinking that this was going to be over in like the next week or two, and it was going to rapidly get better. And that did not happen per se. And I just was looking at this like, I can't watch Netflix all day. There's no way I can do this. So I just proceeded to get online, and I just started to educate myself with what this actually was, where it came from, learning a lot about the Spanish flu, learning a lot about just influenza in general. And then as I'm going through this basically a crash course in a lot of ways, just trying to educate myself, I came across this organization called Direct Relief. Direct Relief has been around since 1948, and they work with all 50 states in the United States, but they work with over 100 countries. So their sole mission, and they're not biased, they're not political, and that's not what it's about. Their sole purpose is to make sure that the men and the women in the scientific community and in the medical community, that these men and women, doctors, nurses, lab technicians, on the front line during crisis, that they have all the resources that they need in order to save as many lives as possible. So whether you're talking about crisis in regards to a natural disaster, poverty, a pandemic, these individuals step in and they get the community what they need on the ground during a crisis to take care of the sick, essentially. And as I'm finding out about them, the song, it literally kind of, it popped me in the face out of nowhere. I hadn't thought about the song in a long time. I always had a kinship to the song. So 8 years ago when we were recording and putting the Amaryllis album together, we write a lot of songs for records. Just because a song doesn't make an album doesn't make it a bad song. It just means it wasn't right for that time. But Atlas was scheduled to be on Amaryllis, so the production of it and everything was all there. I've been asked, did we change anything about the mix or the song? Did we go back in and redo lyrics? And I'm like, no, the song you hear right now is the same song as it was 8 years ago. But why there's a correlation between the song and Direct Relief is we reached out to Direct Relief to actually speak to the executives, the CEO, and the corporation to know that we were coming to them. We had an idea. We wanted to be able to partner with them and actually work with them, to where we created a t-shirt in regards to Atlas. And Atlas is about this. When we wrote the song, it's about Greek mythology. Atlas is the god of endurance. Atlas picked a fight with the Titans and he lost. And so Zeus said, young man, I'm going to have to punish you. So I'm going to put the weight of the world on your shoulders. And the question was, well, if Atlas fell, who would help Atlas? And we would have to help him. And it's about a unite. It's about unity, definitely, but it's also about perseverance and optimism And it just was one of those things where I always knew the song would find its light of day somewhere. I just didn't realize it was going to be to this magnitude. So if you go to shinedown.com, you will see the t-shirt for Atlas Falls. 100% of the proceeds of that t-shirt, when you buy it, it goes to direct relief. We're approaching $300,000 that we've already raised. I did a 45-minute YouTube yesterday with a donate, just kind of talking to the public, and we were having fun and what have you, but you could donate with me yesterday. We raised like $10,000 in 45 minutes just
That's
from
incredible.
that.
Incredible.
And then, but the reality here is, with the song, we are not allowing DSPs to have it. And obviously, Terry, you know what that means. But streaming services right now, they're not allowed to use it for a commercial release, because the whole reason Atlas exists is to get people to know who direct relief is and how very, very valuable they are to the entire world right now. But inside of that, so if you buy the shirt, all the proceeds go to direct relief. And as a thank you, you get a download of Atlas Falls. But with radio, especially terrestrial radio, we reached out to you all and said, if you would like to play it, but to bring awareness to direct relief, we would allow that if you guys would like to play the song, which it kind of started to grow organically. And we just can't thank not only, obviously satellite radio is a part of that, but really terrestrial radio and what you guys and girls are doing. By playing the song, you're bringing an awareness to direct relief. And that's really the sole purpose right now, because this organization is crucial, because once again, their sole mission is to make sure the medical community and the scientific community have the resources that they need on the ground to save as many lives as possible. So, oxygen machines, ventilators, scrubs, surgical masks, latex gloves, the cotton swabs even to test for COVID-19, all these elements that stack up, and PPE is really, really needed right now for these doctors and nurses. And that's exactly what direct relief is, by truckloads, by plane loads. They work with FedEx and they go all over the world, and they are just hustling right now. And they're a very, very important organization for us at the moment. And
the fans love this song. The fans get the mission of the song, because as soon as you guys talked about doing this, we had the Shinedown fans that were just like, hey, DHA, are you guys going to play this? Do you guys have this song? We have to hear this new Shinedown song. We want to hear this new Shinedown song. So everybody was, and I was getting emails from people like, where can I order a shirt? How can I get a shirt? So everybody really was down with the mission. It's a beautiful song. It's a perfect song. It's a hopeful song. And this is exactly, these are exactly the things that we need. We're a radio station about community as well. It's our job to be able to get the word out about that. And especially when we can connect artists with people and then with a cause like that, it's just a win-win, an absolute win-win for everyone. So shinedown.com, I ordered my shirt, by the way, last Thursday. So I'm excited for it.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get it. I was hoping I would get it, by today, but I cannot wait to get it. It's such an amazing and awesome, awesome cause. So now, talk to me a little bit about you and how you've been dealing with this personally, because, hey, look, you guys are road warriors. You're now in a hotel room. You've been in the hotel room for a while, from what I've heard.
14 weeks.
14 weeks. That's a long time to be in a hotel room. So how has this affected you personally also, Brent?
Well, personally, I have to be very honest. First and foremost, our families are all okay. Everyone's safe and everyone's healthy. Everybody in the band, Barry and Zach and Eric, all of us were, we're really just making sure that we're taking care of each other. We're making sure that we take care of not only ourselves, but our community. And everybody right now is doing very, very well. So personally for me, I have to be honest, really in a lot of ways, this is taking a lot of my time. And this is also something for me where, we were in the middle, myself and Zach, we were working on Smith & Meyer's record part 2. So we were in Malibu when all this was kind of going down. And our whole thing and our whole goal was to basically, we want to do a 20-song, track album with Smith & Meyer's, which were 17 songs done. right now of the 20. And we're also working on the Attention film right now, which is in its last stages of editing. And then on top of that as well, we're starting to work on Shinedown 7. So personally, I'm also just trying to keep everybody optimistic. I'm trying to keep everybody focused on the dynamic of, look, you've got to put out optimism for people. You have to show a positivity when you can, because if you turn on the news right now, everybody is in a state of fight or flight. And with fight or flight, the human body, when that happens, it basically has a ton of adrenaline that rushes to your body to make you almost superhuman, focus you to get through whatever that obstacle is. But then once you get through it, you have a sense of calming that comes over you to let you know, okay, I survived, I'm all right, I'm good. We're all kind of in a state of fight or flight right now without that calming effect just yet. Because everybody is kind of grabbing at, where are we at? What are we doing? Is there any new? Is the news different today than it was 2 weeks ago, and what have you? I think that people have to understand that this is something that is unprecedented. A lot of people have seen that. But human beings, we're our best when we need one another. And right now, we really do need each other to build each other up. I know we are going to get to the other side of this. We're already starting to get to the other side of this. And there's real research coming in that the numbers are going way, way down in certain areas. You got to remember also, this is a global pandemic. It's not like you can snap your fingers and everything goes back to the way it was 2.5 months ago. You have to learn from this as well. You know what I mean? You also have to take an initiative when you see people struggling, not just from, and it's not just physical, it's also your mental fitness too. I think about the doctors and I think about the nurses during this, that when this is under control, they will probably have some of them will have a form of PTSD from this because they have been thrust into a war zone.
100%. 100%.
And they're going to need us to support them as well. And that's where the arts come in, and that's where music comes in, and that's where sports come in, and that's where, being entertained and smiling and watching, people be confident again, and watching true healthy competition and being creative for people. Now, are we all going to be able to, in the next couple of months, all walk into a 60,000 capacity stadium? Probably not. But we have to be educated in how we lift the quarantine, how we start to reintroduce each other into society again. But I got to tell you right now, our crew and all the men and women that have worked with us for 2 decades now, myself and Zach and Barry and Eric, we love our crew so much and we love our audience so much. And one thing that we're doing right now is we made a collective decision to reschedule our tour that we had for April and May, quite early, actually. We went ahead and rescheduled it for August and September. As of right now, all of those dates are locked in and are good to go. And we are pushing forward with that. We're finishing up lighting designs right now on the entire show. Our crew is working on making sure all the behind-the-scenes structures are ready to go for this. So we're working in order to make sure that we're going to be able to safely do this tour. But you got to keep a positive focus. You can't get stuck in a negativity. I know things are very kind of unknown right now, but you got to build each other up. You have to focus on being optimistic.
I think that music does that for people too. And I notice your music, we are getting so many Shinedown requests. You're a band that people really sort of gravitate to for happy moments and for moments where they feel like they need to really reach out to, to something. I jotted down the most requested Shinedown songs that we've been getting. Sound of Madness, for people that just are like, I need that. Unity. Yeah. How Did You Love? Second Chance. Burning Bright, and now Atlas Falls. Like, that's been in the last couple of weeks, because I was making notations knowing we were going to do this. And I'm like, there are just certain songs that really make people feel strong. People want to feel strength. They want to feel strength from the things that they love, the things that they know, and the things that inspire them, to feel. And music is definitely one of those things. And you guys are a band that, I think lends itself to, I don't want to say times of trouble, but when people really feel a need to feel better about something, they gravitate to Shinedown music. There's no doubt. I mean, I do this every day and I see and I know, and they do. They gravitate to your music.
You know what? It's very interesting. Our guitar player, Zach Myers, who is one of the most amazing people in my life, he has always expressed to myself and to Eric and to Barry, look, man, he's got a great quote, and it's not about the painter. It's about the painting.
Ooh.
And you have to look at all sides. You know, we're a band that's also, you know, I started telling people a long time ago, because it's true that I started writing songs because it was cheaper than therapy. And for me, it's just one of those things where I've always been able to kind of get out how I feel. But the audience should know something about us if they don't already know it. Like, the whole reason we're able to have a platform, the whole reason we're able to be creative, you know, now looking at 20 years, 2 decades of doing this and not slowing down, and knock on wood, another 20 years, and as long as we can do it. But the audience has always allowed us to be ourselves because we've allowed them to be themselves as well. We love an underdog story. We love it, you know, and we love it like when there's all the odds are stacked up against you and you just refuse to quit. And I think that it's one of the reasons we named the band Shinedown in the first place. You know, sometimes you shine and sometimes you're down. It's the yin and the yang. Everything that's good has a little bit of bad, and everything that's bad has a little bit of good. Sometimes you shine, sometimes you're down, but it's all about balance. And with the subject matter, we've told people before, sometimes you have to fall in a hole in life to figure out how to get out of the hole. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the human spirit is an incredible, incredible thing. And with the music, we've just always been we've tried to always stay in tune with one another. We've always tried to stay in tune with our audience, whether they've been there from the beginning or whether they are, you know, just finding out about us now. But we've never really been the band that we didn't want to microscope negativity. We never really wanted to microscope the idea that it is what it is. We just don't work like that, because it's not that. It's not so much it is what it is, it's what you make it. And right now, with what's going on with this, I am just seeing massive amounts of humanity on just an insanely beautiful global scale, where if you think about it like this, take New Jersey and take New York City, that area, where there is a small area with a ton of people in this, you know, in the demographic and everything of that nature. Think about it like this. You know, you were asked, people on the East Coast were asked, like, millions upon millions upon millions of people. Just in New York City alone, you've got a 4-mile stretch with like 25 million people just in that 4-mile radius. And then in New Jersey, it's a lot of the same. There's a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
But they were asked, both states, I mean, all of us were, we need you to stay inside. And there was not this like reluctancy to it. People looked at what they needed to do and they were able to do it. And they're still doing what they need to do right now. This is, you know, obviously this is a global situation that we're in, but I have to give a lot of credit to humanity, especially where you're at right now and in that part of the US where there's just an abundance of people, and to ask them to just essentially stop, like put them in a holding pattern for a minute, and they've done it, and it's working. It is, you know, flattening the curve, and it is, each day is a day closer to eradicating this. And I know in some areas right now that might be hard to see, but you've also got to look at the news outlets that are giving you a balance between the hard facts, which is just stuff we need to know, but then the positive outcome that is happening because we're so many weeks, you know, going on a month and a half now of this. Don't allow the negativity to completely warp your sense of what's going on. There is a lot of positive news out there right now. There's a lot of, we are getting through a lot of advancements right now. I know this because I'm talking to people that are on the ground, but we're not out of the woods, and we really need to focus on taking care of one another. And I know a lot of this kind of feels maybe a bit alien, but but it is working, and we are going to get to the other side of this. And you know what? We're going to be stronger for it.
I think we have to be. I think we have to be able to look back at this and say, remember that time, and remember what we did, and remember how we all came together. And yeah, I mean, look, I'm so happy that you're on with me, because I think that New Jersey, you're like a son of New Jersey. We love you. Shinedown won our WDHA Rock Madness competition this year. 64 bands, everybody from Zeppelin to Judas Priest, you know, all the new bands. And you guys came out #1. It's all listener, has nothing to do with me or anybody else at the station. Everybody votes. It's like a March Madness, and we continue to do it because people weren't getting.
Oh my gosh!
Shinedown was the band. You guys were the winner. So we feel.
I had no idea. That's like the first I've heard of that. That's amazing.
We feel that kinship, you know, with you. I'm sure you feel that love when you come to New Jersey. And knowing that we're going through this, and you're doing so much to try to help everybody who's on the front lines of this, and really taking your celebrity and taking your talents and saying, look, I'm going to put it out there, and we're going to see what we get back. And, you know, personally, I want to thank you for that. As the daughter of a nurse, you know, and seeing my mom, you know, be a nurse for so many years, and seeing, you know, you care so much about the people that are helping to save lives. I mean, that's just truly inspirational. And thank you. And for giving us a beautiful song from a record that came out 8 years ago that doesn't have that song on it. So, you know, we just love it. And thank you. Thank you so much for that.
I think also too, a lot of praise to you as well, because, and not only with the station, because you have been there from day one, going back, you know, now 2 decades, and we're just that much stronger now because of people like yourself and because of New Jersey. We love New Jersey with every single ounce of our being. We love you.
We love you.
We cannot wait to play for everybody as soon as possible. And we're ready for that. And we're ready to get back out there and do what it is that we do. We always kind of knew that this year was going to be a creative year for us, because we have the film that we're working on. Me and Zach, obviously, with the new Smith & Meyer, Shinedown 7 is being worked on right now. We're also finishing up a live show for everybody that we're going to release in a couple of weeks from the O2 Arena when we were with Alter Bridge. We filmed the last show of that tour, so that's going to be coming out as well. But something I wanted to say before we jump off this, and it has a lot to do with radio, but it has a lot to do with people. What you're doing as a service and being on the air, and why terrestrial radio is so profoundly necessary, is because of times like these. You know what I mean? When there's a panic, when there is an alarm or what have you, that the world everybody has to pay attention. That's what terrestrial radio does. Like, you guys and girls are always there to let us know what's going on. And it couldn't be more apparent than right now. So thank you for that service, and thank you for keeping everybody informed and educated. And on top of that too, frontline workers, like what you just said, people like your mother, and, you know, the doctors and the nurses and lab technicians that are working on treatments right now and vaccines. You know, in the UK today, they just started human trials on a vaccine. They are literally ramping up technology right now and thrusting this. What would normally take years is, you know, taking, you know, because it's necessary to get a vaccine and to get a proper treatment. But I will tell you this. All of the restaurants that are changing their layout by doing curbside or by doing delivery services, when you're going to the grocery store, if you see someone stocking the shelves, an attendant, a cashier, tell them thank you for being there and working in a situation where it's a lot of high stress, stocking those shelves. And, you know, when you talk about hospitals, yes, nurses and doctors and what have you, but it's also the janitors. It's also, you know, the people that are going back and forth in, you know, in an area where they have to keep it clean and they have to keep it sanitized for everybody's safety. There's so many people behind the scenes, the EMT workers, the police department in all different states and in all cities in all countries, the military, all 4 branches. You know, there's a lot of people working, you know, behind the scenes here that have been thrust into the forefront, but they do this every single day of their lives, and they're being brought. Their awareness is a lot more heightened right now, but, you know, just when you see these individuals, if you can take a moment and just tell them thank you for being out there and keeping grocery stores open and making sure that people are getting food delivered and being aware of those things, it means a lot.
Brent, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shinedown.com for everybody. Go get a t-shirt, support an amazing cause, get a download of this incredible tune, Atlas Falls, and I cannot thank you enough for hanging out with me. Reconnect with rockers, and I feel like we have reconnected. We've so reconnected.
Absolutely.
Love you. Thank you.
Love you too. Thank you so much. Be well, be safe, and we'll see you soon.